Hello everyone, my name is the anime Avion, and today I'm going to be taking a first look at Mayoiga, or in the English title, The Lost Village. The Lost Village begins by introducing us to 30 unique individuals who have each suffered some sort of hardship in their everyday modern life. Now, of course, like any sane individual would do, these people find online an ad that tells them, hey, you can leave behind your life that you currently don't like, start a new one in a lost village out in the woods. Of course, they see this ad, and like reasonable people, they go, hey, that sounds promising, and they go join a bus tour with a bunch of strangers off an ad they found on the internet to try and escape their current lives. Now this leads us into the first episode, where we find our characters spending most of their time on a bus. Because that's content! The show uses this period of time to introduce us to each character and give them a rough idea of what they might be on this bus tour, what they're trying to run away from, or what they're trying to leave behind. During this time, we're introduced to our main character, Mitsumune. We're not given too much about this character in terms of who he is or what he's running from. We only know that, according to the first episode, he has an overprotective mother based off some texts that he receives on his cell phone. Now, we're also introduced to Mitsumune's friend, Hayato. Hayato's interesting because, like Mitsumune's mother, he seems overprotective and overbearing on our protagonist. Now, I don't want to get too far into the character descriptions. I'd rather, if you want to know the characters, you watch the show. But it's interesting that the first episode takes this direction of spending most of our time on the bus and kind of giving us a gist of who everyone is. Now, I don't think this is necessarily a bad route to take, seeing that we have 30 different characters who we're trying to keep track of. Don't let that put you off or baffle you. We don't have to keep track of all 30. There are some specific main ones, but we do keep track of a lot of characters in the show, and that's kind of what makes it appealing, is because the show attempts to make each different character in the show, with so many being there, unique, and it tries to get you involved in each one's story. Now, of course, it can't execute this perfectly, but it is something that I don't see happening in a lot of shows. Now, as we get farther into the show, the characters eventually arrive at the Lost Village after the short bus tour, and a whole bunch of other stuff happens that I don't want to spoil for you guys. And we find out that the town is, spoiler alert, filled with these monsters. Now, these monsters aren't the same for everyone. Each character sees this monster as something else, and the monster appears as their past mental trauma. To me, this is a very unique and different idea that I haven't seen explored in an anime. It's very psychological. It explains how if you try to run from your past experiences, if you try to run from your deep dark secrets and try to push them away, they can grow and turn into these huge ferocious monsters, which I feel is what this show is metaphorically trying to express to us. And from what I can tell so far as the show's progressing, the purpose of the show is to have each character confront, face, and accept what has happened to them so they can return to their normal lives. That is the purpose of the Lost Village. It's to make peace with your past and move on, versus running away from it, even though it was advertised as somewhere where you could go to get away from your current everyday life. So moving on from the summary of this show, I want to get into the review portion of this video. Is The Lost Village worth watching? Does it stand out among this season of anime? In my opinion, yes, it's worth watching. Is it one of the greatest of this season? No, I couldn't say that. It's not like Ray Zero Life in Another World, where I'm hyped up all week to see what happens next. But it is unique enough that it keeps me coming back to watch and see what happens. The metaphorical plot of this anime is unique. I see a lot of animes out there that will fill certain tropes over and over. The trope of this anime has not yet been filled before, as far as I'm aware. They picked out something new, and they're trying a different avenue, which to me is enough uniqueness to keep me coming back and watching the show, and I feel like a lot of people who could relate to this trope would love watching the show just as well. Now, it's also fun to have so many different characters that we keep up with. It's not just a certain protagonist or a protagonist and his friends that we have to keep up with. We have a whole group, which is also something that I don't normally see in anime. Normally we have about 1 to 7 characters. This one pushes the boundaries. It tries to do more than that, and not only more than that, it tries to give each one their own unique story, backstory, and personality, versus all the other ones will have maybe a main character, 2 sub-main characters, and then a bunch of side characters. Now that also, filled with the certain trope this anime fills, makes this show different. It does make it stand out, but it's not enough to make me hyped about it. It's not enough to go, hey, this show's one of the best I've ever seen. So concluding this review, I'd have to say this show, due to its uniqueness, is definitely worth watching. If you don't like it, then that's just how it is. It's not one of the ones that I would say you're absolutely going to love this anime, but it is one that I personally enjoy, and I feel that others could enjoy as well. So, go out there, watch The Lost Village, tell me what you think about it in the comments. Like, subscribe if you like the video. I'm not going to force you to, it's up to you. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope it gave you some insight onto whether The Lost Village was worth watching or not. See you next time.